Part 2 of the guy who was harassing his ex-girlfriend at the bar I work at. So it only lasted until she came to the bar, not anywhere near him mind you, to get herself another drink. He starts saying all this stuff about, you think anyone will ever want you like that? You can have me or you can have nothing. And I don't even want you. You were the worst decision I ever made. I don't even know why I'm giving you this chance. And on, until he's cut off by, what are you saying to my girl, bro? A towering guy sat down, put his arm around her and was like, sorry I'm late, babe. Practice kept dragging. Can I help you, son? He was 10 times more put together, better spoken, better dressed, way less effing sad or terrifying than the guy who'd been bothering her all night. The pathetic one was so drunk at this point that he didn't recognize he was outmatched and started launching into this incoherent screaming of, she's a skank, whore, B, and you better not touch her because she's mine. To which the towering, calm guy stood up, took his jacket off and said, without raising his voice, oh, so we have a problem? This guy's friends noticed the situation and came to collect him at this point, just before one of our staff could intervene. But this new guy followed him over to his friends. He got right in his face and said, if you have a problem with her, then you have a problem with me, so I think it's time to bounce. Drunk guy wasn't having any of it, but his friends were smarter, or at least more sober, and knew they didn't want trouble. Once they were gone, new guy went back over to his girl and says, hi, nice to meet you. My name's Isaiah. Sorry to get all involved like that. I hope I didn't overstep. It's just, I could not listen to another second of that. Seriously, that guy is scary. That's why I went with the boyfriend thing instead of saying, hey, you suck, time to go. I've got 3 sisters and he set off all my alarm bells. At this point, I'm stunned. I was wondering who'd bring a date to ladies' night. They'd never even met. He was just a stranger who stepped in to protect her. After this, they chatted a bit and he walked her out. They were back here for their first date today. I drove 2 hours to surprise my boyfriend and found out that he left for the week. It's me and my boyfriend's first year away at school. We're both from the same town but went to different schools and they're 2 hours apart, so we've both made the drive many times and it's worked out great. My class was canceled tomorrow, so I decided it would be fun to go to Victoria's Secret, get some candles, massage lotion, and then go surprise him tonight. I got to his dorm and saw that his car was still in the parking lot, so I figured I had some time to get it cleared with his roommate and surprise my boyfriend. I texted his roommate and asked if I could let myself in and he said of course, but my boyfriend had gone out of town for the rest of the week. I was confused. His parents have a house in Imperial Beach, but he always wants me to go with him. I called him and he said that yes, he was going, but he was still in town getting some stuff together. I asked him if I could come with him and he said no, it was just a boys' trip. I told him that I was actually in his dorm parking lot and wanted to surprise him. He gave me this very condescending, oh, that's nice. I asked if he could at least please come by and see me or we could meet up since I went through a lot of work to put this together. He just dismissively said, no, I can't. We're already on our way. He then said that maybe he could come next weekend to see me, but I should just drive back and then basically hung up. I looked at Find My Friends and it turns out he was literally passing by his dorm as we were talking on the phone. He could have easily stopped by and said hello and this really hurt. Maybe it was stupid, but I called his friends and they all said the same thing. The thing that's so sus is that none of them are going and it's some random friend he's going with that none of them have ever met, but I shouldn't be suspicious. It's like all of them were coached into saying the right thing in short notice because they all said the same thing. I mean, I guess I could look at it like they all said the same thing because it's the truth, right? However, every one of my alarm bells is going off. This is so unlike him. Even if he were going there, he would have told me first. This is the first time he's ever gone without telling me or without inviting me. Maybe I'm a young, dumb, paranoid girlfriend, but my instincts are telling me something is up. What should I do here? I'm a teenage girl and was born when my mom was 18. I see my dad like 3 days a year at Christmas. My dad doesn't want me as much as he wants his other kids, but I try not to take it personally. My stepdad, who's been in my life since I was 5, is really nice to me, but I don't think he would care if I didn't exist. He makes my mom and little brother, my mom's and stepdad's bio kid, so happy and does a lot for me, and for that, he means the world to me. My mom's pregnant again, and this time I get a little sister. I'm just a little nervous, but my stepdad hasn't said anything about having his first daughter, so I really do appreciate him being sensitive to me, even though I know that he doesn't consider me to be his daughter. My mom's excited for another daughter too, and has been shopping for clothes and been putting together a nursery with me because I'm really good at art and I'm painting a mural for my sister. She keeps saying things to me like, I'm so grateful to be able to give all of this to the baby that I wasn't able to give to you, and that she's blessed that she doesn't have to do it alone, and that she's really excited to see my stepdad be a dad again. I know I'm being selfish, so please don't think low of me because of course I want my mom to be happy, but when she says things like this, I feel like I'm worthless and that I'm a burden. I also feel bad for feeling bad because I want my mom to have a good life, and she at least stuck around because she could have left me like my dad did. Painting is really therapeutic for me, so I've been hiding away painting the nursery. At dinner today, my mom asked me why I've been so quiet and I told her about my feelings. She got sad and my stepdad had to comfort her. I said I love her and was so grateful that she's my mom and for all that she's done for me, but she was still upset. I feel like the a-hole because I knew that she would get sad when I told her my feelings, but I told her anyways. Am I the asshole for telling my mom and stepdad the real reason I was upset? I'm 22 and my sister Anna, 21, is special needs. She has severe autism, and while she is verbal, most of her communication is physical, like sign language, due to her social discomfort. She does speak around family though, and has pretty bad cognitive skills. She can't comprehend boundaries and lives with our parents so they can best watch her. I'm getting married in 3 months. We planned a simple wedding and reception at my fiance Michael's parents' barn and farm. Since it's all going to be DIY and we aren't planning on anything too expensive, we can do things pretty quickly since flowers, food, and decor will be provided by his family. I sent out invites last week and I asked Anna not not to come. I told my parents I understood that would mean they might not show up, but it was just a heads up. Why no Anna? Because she has an issue touching Michael and trying to kiss him. At times when we were at my parents' house, Anna would try to grab Michael's hands, try to lean in to kiss him, or would have really bad shutdowns if she wasn't allowed to be directly next to him. We've tried speaking to her, but there's only so much we can do when she really doesn't understand. I told my parents I just want one day for Michael to be my partner and not Anna's comfort person. They called me selfish and asked how I expected them to agree to something like this. They told me Anna is disabled and may never experience a wedding of her own while I have Michael for probably the rest of our lives. She'll have no one, and that Michael and I can be a little bit more understanding to the reality of her life. Later on, my parents called me letting me know that they won't be coming and it's best that I don't bring Michael around anymore since I've chosen some man over my sister. They told me that Anna wanting to kiss Michael and hug him is normal for a woman her age and she doesn't understand what her feelings mean. I suggested they try to redirect her during the wedding, but they said that Michael is going to be family to her and he needs to get over it. I suggested they watch the wedding via web and they said that it's not fair and they deserve to see things in person. I asked if I could pay for someone with proper credentials to watch her that day while they attend, and they asked me what I would do when they died and if I'd pawn her off every time. I dropped the unfortunate truth bomb that I don't want to put any more of my life aside for Anna. I did it up until I turned 18 and Anna is not my life's responsibility and I won't be her keeper. I assured them that I pay for her care, but if she's okay doing this to Michael, then I worry if I ever choose to have children and what she'd do to them. They said I was sick for suggesting she'd do anything to my future children and hung up on me. They sent me a lengthy text telling me not to contact them until I could do the right thing. Am I the asshole for not wanting my disabled sister at my wedding? I have a severe dog allergy. I can have varying degrees of severity when it comes to my reactions when I'm exposed to dogs. In short, being in a closed environment with a dog is out of the question. Earlier today, I was boarding my flight with some friends since we're all going on vacation together. As I'm boarding, I find that one of the passengers is boarding with a golden retriever with a guide dog vest on it. I want to make it clear that I'm not questioning whether this was a guide dog or not. This was also a fairly small plane since the flight would only take around an hour. As mentioned, I cannot be in a confined space with a dog. I told one of the flight attendants my concerns since I could have potentially ended up in the hospital if I had to fly with this dog. The flight attendant informed the woman with the dog, who goes into hysterics saying that she's visiting a sick family member and can't afford to miss her flight. I'm not sure how sick the family member in question was or is. The flight attendant asked if I'd be willing to miss the flight and catch the next one and would be leaving around 2 hours. I was offered a seat in first class if I was willing to do this. I said that unfortunately I wouldn't be able to do this since I'd paid for my vacation. Due to the size of the plane, the dog would not be able to go in the hold. The woman started insulting my character, saying that I was heartless for putting my vacation over her sick family member. I got on the plane and sat with my friends. As I did this, a woman in a nearby seat told me that she wanted to inform me that I am the biggest bitch she's ever met. I didn't respond since I didn't want to cause a confrontation. My friends haven't said that I'm in the wrong, but have kept making sarcastic jokes about the situation. Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my seat on the flight? My father married my stepsister's mother when I was 4 and she was 3. We've lived together most of our lives in our family. She and I were extremely close. She developed cancer when she was 14 and was sick for about 2 years. She's since made a full recovery though. During that time, my parents became understandably overprotective. They also asked a lot of me. I quit my extracurriculars so that I could get a job, the money went towards her medical bills, and so that I could drive her to her appointments. I didn't go to dances, and any fun activities I did needed to include her. I did almost all of this willingly with the exception of having to quit my high school volleyball team. I did throw a bit of a tantrum about that but was swiftly punished. Anyhow, I go to college and meet my ex Ben when I'm in junior. We fall in love, blah blah blah. He and I move in together when we graduate, so we've been living together for about 3 years. We were serious until July when I walked into my bedroom and saw him screwing my sister. I broke it off, tears were shed, and he moved out. My sister apologized at first but then backed off. I thought she was giving me space, but last week she called and asked if we could meet up. She told me that she and Ben were in love and were just telling me as a courtesy before they started posting photos online. Distraught, I left her in the restaurant by herself and did not pay my portion of the bill. She later Venmoed me asking for the money. She told my parents, who then called me to their house telling me how disappointed they are in me for not supporting my sister's relationship with Ben. They brought up the fact that because she had cancer as a teenager, she never learned proper social etiquette and has a hard time meeting people. I don't buy this, in part because I've seen her socialize just fine, and since we spent a good chunk of time together when she was sick, that would mean that I would also have bad social skills as well by that logic. They then told me that if I don't accept my sister and Ben's relationship, they may have to go no contact with me. I reminded them that I'm also their daughter and they should understand my point of view, but they're adamant that this is about me being jealous of her. Now no one in my immediate family is talking to me and I'm getting messages from aunts and uncles and cousins telling me that I'm an asshole and selfish bitch. It also turns out that my sister's 4 months pregnant. This means they were screwing each other for longer than I even guessed. Apparently my parents are so adamant that I forgive her because I'm already ruining their experience for their first grandchild. Am I the asshole for not accepting my sister's relationship with my ex despite her having cancer as a teenager? Storytime about how I messed up giving a homeless girl my room at a hotel. Over the weekend, I was staying at a popular UK chain hotel and thought I was going to be there until Sunday night. Well, 1 p.m. comes and I get back to the hotel early from having lunch, and it turns out that they have a strict checkout time of 12 p.m. to get your money back. And I don't really want to stay there all day by myself miles away just for the sake of it. Over in the corner of the hotel lobby was a little lounge area with a sofa and some armchairs. There was a girl who must not have been much older than 18 or so sleeping on the sofa, and you could tell from her appearance that she was sleeping rough and had come inside out of the rain. The hotel reception staff had walked over to her and were asking her to leave, which I understand, but I felt horrible for her. I followed her out into the car park and offered my room key if she promised not to trash the room as long as she checked out on time. She agreed, and so I went on my way, not really thinking much about it other than how she wouldn't have to sleep outside in the rain. I spoke to my brother later on and he informed me that if something bad happened to her in the room, then it would be on me, so I was panicked all last night. I tried calling the hotel to tell them the situation but couldn't get through. Well, they eventually called me and it turns out she didn't only trash the room, but she also urinated in the hallway, tried to smash the vending machine, and was a general disturbance to the other guests. The hotel informed me that I'd have to pay for any damages, and the reception lady gave me a very stern lecture about why they don't just give people rooms when they show up like that. Lesson learned, but at least an 18-year-old girl didn't have to sleep outside in the rain and be open to any number of dangerous situations for a night, I suppose. Storytime about the time I invited a Tinder date over to my house and accidentally met his mother. Like many other unfortunate souls, my non-existent dating life has me turning to the dating apps. This particular one is from Tinder. I'd been chatting with this guy for a few days and everything was going swimmingly. We had so much in common and we were looking for the same things. His pictures were cute and he didn't live too far away. All seemed well. I invited him over to grill out some burgers in my backyard. He asked if he could bring anything and I said sure, bring some bacon for the burgers. He agreed and said he'd be over soon. Given his distance, I expected him to be over in 15 minutes. I started to grill and season the burgers. Half an hour later, he messaged me and said, I've driven by a couple times and chickened out. Are you sure you want me to come over? Maybe a red flag, but I chalked it up to nerves and just said, come on, I'm hungry. So this haggard-looking guy shows up, much different than his Cedric picture. That's alright, I can move past that. From the moment he walked up, I kid you not, he did not take a breath. Within the first 5 minutes, I knew his life story from his aunt who hated their grandma to his father who likes to collect taxidermy. Not a single breath. Again, I figured he was just nervous. I put the burgers on, and when they're ready, he pulled out a Ziploc bag from his pocket with 2 pieces of bacon in it. He puts them on only his burger. Okay. We sit down at the patio table and start eating. I finish my burger before he even started his. He did not stop talking the entire time. When we sit down, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a vial. He must have noticed me staring at it, flipping between if he was about to snort something strange or build some sand art. He said, oh, all super casual, I'd like to introduce you to my mother. I just stared at him for what felt like an eternity. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or run. He said, I like to bring her to any important event in my life. She also has ashes in this necklace I'm wearing, and this ring I have on, and this half-sleeve tattoo is for her. Now, mind you, I've lost too many people close to me, and I do not judge people based on their grief cycles. We all cope differently, and I respect that. But homeboy brought a vial of his mother's ashes and set them on the table for our first date. I simply could not. He finally finished his burger, and I made some excuse about having to clock in and finish some work at 9:30 p.m. He texted me before he even got to his car and told me, my mother really liked you. I can't wait to see you again. I told him that I didn't feel a connection to him or his mother. I moved to Los Angeles for a marketing internship for a big company. We're a prestigious company, and one day I saw a girl in my office dressed like trash. We, interns, have to dress business casual. I rent my clothes to look the part. I believe in dress for the job you want. I see this girl with a t-shirt and ripped jeans in the office one day. I made the joke that someone didn't get the memo on how to dress in the office. Whenever I saw the girl in the office, she wasn't made up or anything. Just plain tees, jeans, and old shoes. No makeup. She never showed up much, and me and my friends would gossip about her. I was eyeing one of the boys in sound production, and I saw him talking to this girl. He sat with us for lunch. My friend and I made a joke about who let the homeless in. This guy lost his shit. He said, you don't know who that is? I can't believe you're talking shit about her. You're gonna get us all fired. I laughed and said, Daddy's money could buy an internship but not the class? He lost his shit and yelled at us. Well, it turns out this girl is a famous sound engineer. She's worked with Lil Nas X, Diplo, and deadmau5. She's also the sound director for several large gaming franchises. So yes, I effed up. But how was I supposed to know that? She never talks to anyone or anything. So she's stuck up and rude. I'm from the South, where women put better appearance in their looks and efforts. My boss called me in and now I'm on probation. He said I'm lucky that I'm not fired. He said if word got out, I would probably never work in the industry again. I think everyone is overreacting. I'm 22 and have my whole life in front of me. I believe everyone should have to follow the dress code when in the office, even for a little bit. Am I the asshole for thinking everyone should dress nice for their jobs? I'm 28 and babysit on the weekends to make some extra cash. There's this one family that I should have phased out by now, but the kids are cute and I don't have another job, so it's easy money. My issue is, the mom is never home on time. She used to not give me return times, but I finally started asking as it made it impossible for me to get anything done on the weekends. I'd go babysit so she could have brunch, but she'd be gone from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. My whole day was gone. After that, she'd start giving me times but never stick to them. She wouldn't even call to tell me, she'd just stay out. On Saturday, I got to her house at 6 and she was supposed to be home by 9. I told her that she needed to be home on time because I had plans to go out with friends. I was even getting ready at their house after I put the kids to bed. She promised. Of course, 9 rolls around and she's not home. I call her, no response. Text, no response. Another hour. Still nothing. I was still calling and texting. Finally, it's midnight. By this point, my plans are long ruined, but I'm pissed and exhausted. I call her and leave a voicemail saying that if she's not home in the next hour, I'm considering the kids abandoned and calling the cops. I also texted her this. I tried calling her 30 minutes later and it goes to voicemail on the second ring. I text her again and she leaves me on read. If she had reached out saying, hey, I'm staying out until X time, I would have stayed. I don't know any of her family nor the father of the kids, so I can't call them. I gave her a grace period of 15 minutes and tried calling again. And finally,